So let's talk a little bit more about CSS. CSS is really where we have a whole lot of power with web design, and we've just barely touched the surface, and we're only going to be able to do so much really today, but I'm hoping that with you playing with it, you get comfortable enough to try out other things. So we're going to look at just a little bit more, just to hopefully get you comfortable enough with it to experiment more and look up other things, and then yeah, that'll be more or less what we'll do. So let's talk a little bit about what else we can do sort of with like page layout. So right now we have this picture, and the next thing that I want to show you is how to center this picture. We've centered text, but how do we center the picture? So if I make this wider, right, like here it looks fine, but when I make it wider, you can tell it is not centered. So we have this in an image tag. Where is my image? There it is, right? So how do we center it? If I go to style.css, we center text with this text align center, but a text align center won't work with this because it's not text. One of the most common ways to center objects in CSS is with margins. So let's see if we can set the margins. So typically for this, we set two margins. We set a vertical margin and a horizontal margin, and the vertical margin is first. So we're going to say that we want 0 for the vertical margin. I guess we can do pixels. And then we choose our horizontal margins. Now, we're not actually going to put a value in here. We're going to tell it auto. And what auto will do is it will look at the size of the browser, and then it will make them the same amount based on what the browser is. And if the margin is the same amount on both sides, based on how big the margin is, based on however big the browser is, then it should center it, right? That's the logic to it. So let's say auto, and let's try running. Let's see if it works. No, it didn't work. Now the reason that didn't work is right now this is like an inline element, which what that means is we could actually type next to it, like hello, and it will actually put type next to it. So you have inline elements and you have block elements. Notice how like with the title and stuff, and down here as well, these things don't, like they don't show up next to each other, right? They like one shows up below the other. So something like a title, a header, an HR tag, like this one here, the horizontal rule, those are block elements. This image is an inline element. So for our margin tag to work, we have to change the image to a block element. Now, we might not want to do that with every image, but right now we are selecting all of them with this. So I'll go ahead and do it with this, and then I'll show you how to select just this specific image in case you don't want it to do it to every image on your page. So we type display, and then we tell it block, and that turns it into a block element just like these other ones. So when I hit run, hello should get pushed down below it because it's not allowed to be in the block. Yep, there you go. So now my auto margins are working, and hello has been pushed down to a new line because this is now a block element instead of an inline element like before. Now what if we don't want every image to be affected that way? What we could do instead is we could give this an ID. So let's do, I'm going to go ahead and delete hello because I was just doing it to show. So I'm going to call this ID equals me image or something. Me image, whatever. Now in style, instead of targeting all images to do this, we can target an ID. So to target an ID, I can target that specific ID with a hashtag or a pound sign instead. So what did I call it? Me image, I think. And I can open those brackets, and let's copy and paste this over. And let's see if it worked. There you go. So now if I have other images on the page, they won't be affected by this, only this will be affected by it.